Today, we're not just going to watch a story. We're going to take it apart. It's like we're popping the hood on a fictional universe, looking at the raw materials, the blueprints, the DNA, to see exactly how a world like this is brought to life.
Okay, just picture this for a second. A massive stadium, a character named Jarru leaping between floating platforms, his long hair just exploding behind him. The very air starts to warp as he winds up for this impossible throw called the Blackwater Flame Arc. The crowd is going wild. Sounds pretty epic, right? Like the climax of some huge blockbuster anime?
I mean, you can practically see it in your head, can't you? The slick, high-budget animation, the booming sound design. So the obvious question is, what is this amazing new show, and where can I stream it right now?
Well, here's the twist. It doesn't. That whole epic scene, that entire world, it doesn't exist as a show or a movie. You can't find it on any streaming service.
See, what I just read to you, that came from a design document. It's literally the blueprint for a world that's being imagined. So today, using nothing but these source documents, we are going to explore the anatomy of this universe and see how it's meticulously built, character by character, rule by rule, from the ground up.
All right, let's get into it. Every great story starts with its characters. But, they don't just pop into existence fully formed. They are crafted, they're corrected, they're refined over and over. Let's take a look at how our two main characters, Peppi and Jarru, went from just an idea to a person.
So let's start with Peppi. The initial concept is, pretty standard, wavy black hair. But check out the correction. Chestnut brown, well-defined curls, no side part. Now this is so much more than a cosmetic change. It's a total vibe shift. It gives her this warmth, this energy, a much more distinct personality. You can literally see the creator zeroing in on who she is.
And now, for Jarru, this one is just fascinating. The change is just his shoes. That's it. He goes from wearing black combat boots to white designer loafers with a gold buckle. Just think about what that one tiny detail tells you. He goes from a potential brooding fighter type to this elegant, maybe a little bit wealthy, coastal academy pretty boy. A single choice totally redefines his entire aesthetic.
So how are these visuals actually created and kept so consistent? Well, this is where a very modern tool comes into play. AI art generators. The creators feed them these super detailed prompts. And we're not talking simple requests here. These things are like complex recipes. Look at the language. Soft shoujo style. Curls bouncing naturally. Calm, soft expression. These text prompts basically act as the genetic code, guiding the AI to create every single image with a perfectly consistent visual identity. Okay, so we've got our characters. What's next? Well, you have to build their relationship. And just like their hair color or their shoes, their emotional chemistry is carefully engineered. It is not left to chance. It is blueprinted.
Get this. This is from the official couple interaction pose sheet. This one little equation tells animators, artists, and writers everything they could possibly need to know. It's not just they're in love. No, it's a very specific flavor of love. It's gentle, it's a little awkward, and it's got this undeniable magnetic pull.
And you can see exactly how that dynamic translates into action. Here's the first pose from their interaction sheet, the forehead touch. And notice the specifics. She's on her toes, he's bending down. It's a quiet moment of mutual, gentle effort. It feels so earned and so intimate. Next up, the sleeve hold. A classic, right? But look at the direction here. Shy bravery. It's not a commanding grab. It's a light hold. And he doesn't get annoyed. He pauses mid-step and looks back at her with soft eyes. The entire story of their tenderness is right there in that one small gesture.
And finally, you have to love the lap tutoring pose. The notes here for the artist are just fantastic. For Peppi, it says she's focused but enjoying the closeness. But for Jarru, the note is literally dying, melting, trying to stay composed. That soft tension is the very core of their gravitational pull, planned down to the last flustered glance.
So we have our characters and we've got their dynamic. But where do they live? Let's zoom out a bit and look at the world itself, Arreqqana. Because building a believable world takes a lot more than just cool names. It requires culture.
Just take this concept, Saara. In this world, an act of service, like tending to someone's shoes, is considered a form of silent prayer. It's the highest form of affection. That single idea tells you so much about their values. Respect, humility, and devotion are prized way above grand declarations.
And the world building goes even deeper. This isn't just a character sheet, it's an astrological chart from inside the universe.
So Jarru isn't just some guy. He's a Wajara, the wolf, aligned with fire and wind, walking the path of the weaver of flame. All of this lore gives his actions this incredible weight, this sense of destiny.
And of course, a world needs pastimes. They have a sport called threadball. And remember that Blackwater flame arc from the intro? That's Jarru's signature move. This is the kind of detail that makes the world feel really lived in, with its own heroes, its own legends, and its own unique entertainment. Now, a world and its characters are only as interesting as the challenges they face. So let's look at a key narrative arc from the source material, a marriage of duty that tests the very core of our characters and their entire society.
The arc is laid out in 5 clear steps. It starts with a strategic marriage between a 17-year-old Jarru and a 15-year-old Saara. And what's interesting is, there's no villain here. The tension comes from the gap between public duty and private feeling. The wedding is described as correct, but pointedly, not joyful. The union is respectful, but it's emotionally lifeless. They call it a withered flame. And crucially, it doesn't end in some big scandal. It just concludes quietly, preserving everyone's honor.
And this whole story arc exists to establish a core truth of their world. In Arreqqana, faking love would actually be more dishonorable than admitting its absence. This arc brilliantly defines Jarru's character. He's someone who will not lie, even when it's uncomfortable, and it reinforces the unique values of his entire culture.
So after deconstructing this whole universe, what have we learned? What does this collection of documents, this intricate blueprint, truly represent?
What we've seen is the modern world builder's toolkit in action. It's this marriage of meticulous human planning, the character bibles, the deep lore, the narrative arcs, and these incredibly powerful creative tools. We saw how those specific text prompts can guide an AI to generate a visual style that's perfectly consistent. It's an incredible amount of passion and artistry poured into the vision before a single final frame is even animated. And this process, this fusion of human imagination and artificial intelligence, it brings up a fascinating question about modern creativity. What does it truly mean to be a creator today? Is it the hand that draws the line, the code that generates the image, or is it the mind that directs it all with 1,000 perfect words? Where does the artistry truly lie?
Ultimately, no matter what tools are being used, it all comes back to a core human truth. This quote from Jarru about Peppi isn't about lore or design. It's about a feeling. It's the heart of the story, and that is something that no tool can generate. It can only be imagined.